Hey, this is Daniel Holbrook, the sports director here at the Y, and I'm going to walk you through how to put up our volleyball nets. So here against the wall we have obviously our standards, the poles. There's two different kinds. There's the one that has the crank on it here that we'll use to tighten the net, and then just the regular standard one. So we'll start by carrying these out here and getting them set up. So they just drop right down into this hole here. And then depending on who you're setting the net up for, there's different heights. If you're going to be setting it up for, let's say for example, a group of adults that's coming into play, then you're going to want to set it to the highest men's height. Or if there's going to be some youth or a group of kids or a middle school team, for example, that's going to play, there's different settings for that. So this here, you just loosen that, and that lets you move this up and down. So you'll see there's different marks here for the different heights, and again, that will tell you. It'll explain on here which is which. So there's boys or men's height, there's girls, women's height, and then there's age 12 years and younger height. So we're just going to set it on the middle height here. So you just sit it there, and then you use this knob again to tighten it up. Go ahead and grab the other pole. Alright, now we will go and get our net to put the net on. So we have this net holder here, which actually holds 3 nets. And this is pretty important, something that you want to remember. At the end, we'll get to later when you're putting the net back on. That's going to help the entire process of even taking the net off, is just taking that extra time to make sure that you're putting the net on here correctly, and we'll get to that later. So we're just going to take the end of this string here. We'll come over here to the pool. And so one side, this string, you're going to untwirl it. So we're going to take this here, and it goes up over the top. Now luckily I'm a little taller, so it helps me, but if you can't reach the top, you can always get a ladder that'll help. And then you're going to take this loop here, and you're going to hook it right on that little hook. And then we use this is what we'll use to tighten it. I like to just get this on a little bit and get it going, just so I know it doesn't fall off. And then we'll actually take the rest of our net and we'll bring it over to the other side and unroll this as we go. And then you'll see again on the same side of this net, there's another little string here, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to grab it and just take it over the top of that little thing there. And then same thing on this end as well. There's going to be another loop that you're going to want to hook on this side. It's just one little hook here, and you'll hook it on. Okay, so now we have our net on, and then what we're going to do is go back to the other side to tighten it. So now we're back over here, and one of the most important things about tightening it is you don't want to ever over tighten it. So what we're going to do is basically just take this, and we're going to start rotating it. And it does take a while. This is one of the longer parts of putting it up, but you're just going to keep on cranking. And basically you want to go until the top of your net is a straight line. So if you look at the net right now, obviously we can see how it's dipping down in the middle. And so we're gonna just keep going until we get the top of that net to straighten out. Another thing that you want to kind of just watch as you are turning this. Is your line here inside of this. As you're turning it, you want to make sure that you're kind of guiding along to help it not all get bunched up on one side here. It's supposed to kind of go up and down this little thing here in the middle. So we don't want the rope to get all bunched up on one side. So sometimes I even just kind of pull on this to bring it over back to the middle. So we're almost there. We're gonna keep going until we get the top of that net to be straight. And again, just don't over tighten it. So when you're going, and if it ever gets to a point where you feel like you really have to force this, then you want to stop there and you don't want to go anymore. Okay, so that's pretty good right about there. Okay, next, we're gonna have the straps that are on both sides of the nets on the sides. And so you see that there's 3 here, 1, 2, 3. All we're gonna do is unravel them, and as we go through to put it away, we'll talk about how to do that the right way as well. Okay, so all you're going to do is you're going to take this strap, the longer one, and we're going to bring it around, and we're going to actually tuck it underneath this string here. The reason we don't go on the outside like this over the top is because the more pressure that gets put on this over time, this string can actually start to fray and wear, and we don't want that to happen. So we're gonna go underneath this string here. And then this side, we're gonna take this end of the string, we're gonna open this up. This just goes right through like that, and you pull it, and you see it'll get tighter right there. And then we're gonna do the same thing with this one. Through behind the string. Go through there. So until it gets tight. Same thing with this one. Again, behind the string. Now when I do this first side first, I actually don't want to make these super tight. You can see I tighten them a little bit, but I don't want to make them too tight because we're going to go over to the other side as well, and that'll help us find the correct tightness on both sides. So now we're going to walk over to the other side and do the same thing on this one. Now that we're on this side, I can tighten all the way because I know that other side's already on there, so I can get it pretty tight. Double check all these, make sure it's tight. Ideally, you want the edge here to be straight when you get all of these tightened. Okay, then I'll just go back over one more time and we'll check this side to make sure that these are tight as well. Now we'll tighten the other side. And this is pretty straight here. All right, so now we have our net on. It's all tight on both sides, it's pretty straight. And then what we're gonna do next is we're gonna put our guards over these poles on both sides. And that's just for safety, so that we don't have kids or anyone running into these, obviously, metal poles, which are located here in the closet, up on top.
So I'm gonna grab a ladder and get 2 of those down real quick.
And we'll just actually put one on, just to show you, because obviously it'll be the same on both sides. And all you're gonna do is take these, has just Velcro on them, and we're gonna put it around the pole like this. And this little strap Velcro's here, and then this Velcro's all the way down there. So you'll get one of these on the other side as well. And after that, you've got your net set up. So now we are going to go through just putting the net away, which is one of the most important parts because we want to make sure that we get it all stored back correctly, exactly how we found it. So we'll get this thing off here real quick. Just sit this over here on the side for now, but obviously that'll go back up top. All right, so to take it down, now we're basically just gonna go in reverse order. So we're gonna start with these straps here and loosen them up. And so we'll just take this, push here, and these straps are gonna loosen. So what I like to do is, you have this long strap here, and when we get it all rolled up back on the net holder, if we just leave these like this, they're gonna be dragging on the ground. When you're trying to wheel that, it's gonna get caught in the wheels. And so we want these to roll them back up how they started, and we attach them to the nets here. So I like to just pull it out, take the end here, and just kind of roll it up like this. There's not necessarily a right or wrong way to do this as long as you get it rolled up and it looks nice. And then I like to just take this and wrap it around here a couple times as well. And then this end here, I like to just take it and hook it right onto the side, and then we have this nice and sturdy here, just how we found it. That way, again, as we're moving the net, anything, we don't have these just laying out on the ground, getting pulled on, messed up, anything like that. Loosen all these up. Do the same thing here. Take this, I like to wrap it around a couple times. Hook it right here on the side.
Go do the same thing on the other side. Last one.
All right, so now we got all the straps on both sides. We got them secured here on the side again. So now we're gonna go back over to the crank that we used to tighten the net. And we're just gonna start going in the opposite direction now to loosen it. Again, it's a little time consuming. I wish there was a faster way, but there's not. So we got this all the way off here. Okay. Now, what we don't want to do here is, a lot of times after we get it here, it'd be really easy to just let go of this, let it drop down. But again, these lines here are very thin, and so even sometimes just the smallest thing, something could get caught up here, and if it breaks open and it starts to become frail, then basically the entire net can't be used, and this has a great chance of breaking. And so we want to just carefully take it off here, and then we'll lay it down. And what I like to do to help, put it back on the net holder. And real quick here actually is a perfect example. You see here this net, when it was put away, one of these didn't get quite rolled up correctly and attached back on there. So this is what we don't want to happen. Again, just if we're rolling this and we're moving it, this could get caught up, it could get torn, okay? So what we're gonna do is, with our net holder, we're gonna just, again, basically go in reverse order of when we took it off. So we start here with this string. I like to just take this loop and put it on one of these ends here. And then we're just gonna start rolling it back on to the net holder. And then basically as I'm rolling, I'm just gonna start moving my way down in this direction. And I like to leave that end on because that just kind of helps hold the net as I go. Makes it a little easier for me. And then once we get here, how we put the net back on here is we're just gonna take on this top row of where the holes are at, and we're just gonna hook it right onto this bottom section. So we hook it right in there, and then we're just gonna start rolling. And when you're doing this, you kind of wanna pull it snug and tight as you're rolling it. If you keep it too loose as you're going, when you get to the end, it's not gonna fit on tightly like how these ones look. So you wanna kind of pull it tight as you're rolling it on and as you're moving down this. Now that I'm down here at this end, I can undo this one real quick. Again, don't just take it off and let go of it. Be careful to take it off here so that we're not doing anything with that line. And then we're just gonna finish rolling it up. And then with this end, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna just continue rolling it up all the way. Take this and hook it on here. So again, you'll look down here at the bottom. We don't have any of these straps that are hanging down, which is what we want. We want them to stay on secure like this so that they're not dragging or getting caught in the wheels as we move them. So then basically we'll put the nets back in the closet, and then to put these away, again, we're gonna use this here just to loosen. We want to always make sure we're lowering these back down and tightening them before we pick them up and start to carry them. First of all, it helps you carry them easier if you lower it down, and it's just safer. That way we're not accidentally scratching anything, closet doors, anything like that. So when we pick these up to put them back in the closet, we want to make sure that we move this cover here back over to cover the hole, and then just kind of step on it a little bit to make sure that it's in place there. And then we'll just carry these back. And then we're gonna just make sure they get back in here on this holder on the wall. So we're gonna sit it in here. And this strap, again, is another Velcro strap that will tuck in right here behind this. Pull it tight and strap it, and then it's secured in place there. So then we're gonna just take the other pull, do the same thing, bring it in here, strap it in here, and you're good to go. And that is how you put up and take down our volleyball nets.